Sneakers and Stories, a podcast from Pint of Stuff with Mr. B and SJ.
Well, again, I'm always surprised by that. It's like I've heard it so many times and I'm just like, it still sounds not bad. I can't believe it. Anyway, so I'm Mr. B, it's SJ, and this is probably it is the second episode of Sneakers and Stories, and we have got some very, very special guests with us this week. We've got Danny and Lance from the Annexe, and we've been following the Annexe for a long time. In fact, I think we were watching their videos before we left the US, which for me now seems like forever ago. So, so welcome, Danny and Lance.
Thank you very much.
There we go. In fact,
welcome.
We'll just do that. Yeah, it's great to have you on. Second episode, so we're not really quite professional.
First, by the way, just
Sorry.
Are we getting tumbleweed now?
No.
When were your first guests? Just out of interest. Not trying to put you on the spot.
Well, actually, you were the second. I was the first.
Yes. Oh. Yes. Completely. No, it's like you literally are helping us with this because we're all getting used to this podcast thing. But I thought, you kind of, we have similar interests, but there's clearly a love of Adidas in the Annexe, and we tend to drift very much into the Nike SB world.
Up the north-south divide.
I feel like the odd one out here because you're more Nike SB.
Yeah. Well, that's what got me into collecting trainers.
I feel quite intimidated, to be honest. I'm in the presence of Nike-ness.
Well, see, and so I kind of wanted to ask, really, if you think about it, right? What really? Because you've clearly got slightly different tastes, and so I'm curious as to what your first sneaker memory is, or the first thing that really sticks in your head, that's kind of there as that's the thing that really tripped me over the edge, or as in SJ's case, this is just the first pair of shoes that I can really remember.
Oh, go on, you can start with that.
Yeah, we have spoken about this before. My first memory is Adidas Kick. So, possibly the cheapest, nastiest pair of Adidas from the 80s, and it was the bizarre thing was it was an aspirational shoe for me. It's the first pair of trainers my mum and dad could afford to buy me that was branded, and I think even though it was quite an insignificant shoe, it obviously had some kind of lasting impression on me. And when I started earning my own money, it was obviously I'm going to buy trainers with my money, and that's where it all started. So that's it. Yeah.
Pretty much. Well, similar to me. I remember 1993 being probably 93, must have been just after in high school. But a lad had a pair of Air Max 93s on, and my mouth just dropped, and I was like, "What are those?" I've never seen, because I never got trainers when I was a kid, and I went to a different high school. You meet different people, and it was just. Right, I need some trainers now, and my mum couldn't afford to buy us things like that, so I had to get the basic Nike trainers or the basic Adidas trainers just to have that brand. And then 16 hit, got a part-time job, ballistic pretty much, just got everything. TNs were the first. Do you remember TNs 1999? The TN dropped.
Wow. So I think that must be like that's kind of the same for both of us, because I think Selena talked about the high tech high tops, and I think for me, like the first one I really remember, and I think I'm going back to the 80s. I swear it was a Gola thing that my mum had somehow picked up. I can't remember what it was exactly, but I'm sure it was Gola. I seem to remember that she told me off because I used to use it as a brake on my bike, and I put holes in it, and I'm sure that's what it was, but I can't really remember beyond that. But it's like shoes back then cost a lot of money, I seem to remember.
Well, I was going to try and freak you all out. Mine were bought out of a catalogue?
Yes.
So they paid weekly?
Yeah.
Yes.
It might have been Kay's
Yes,
catalogue.
yes,
or
totally
something like
Kay's
that.
catalogue. Now, this won't mean anything to anybody in the US who watches or listens, but Kay's catalogue, I swear my mum got the goalers from them, or we might have even been living in Northern Ireland at the time, and she might have gone to some discount store. I can't remember, but yeah, Kay's catalogue, I seem to recall flicking through that a lot at the time.
I actually definitely bought my Air Max 98 through Littlewood's catalogue because I couldn't afford. They were like £90 even back then.
Really?
Yeah, and I paid for them like over 6 months or something.
That's nuts. That's nuts. Can you imagine doing that now? Can you like for
come back out and what's the thing that size have an app, don't they? And
Yeah,
you
it's
pay,
It's a
Klarna.
subscription thing.
Yeah, you pay for every 3. Is it like
Yeah.
0% interest or something for like 3 months on purchases?
Yep.
No.
Crazy days.
very crazy. Now the thing is, now imagine if Size had got like the Travis, right? And you got them on 3-month payments, but then you sold them on StockX. Like there's definitely a thing there. Like we could definitely work that as some kind of interesting scam.
Yeah.
Don't put this out on the podcast. We'll talk offline about this little business model. Coronavirus, to be honest.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. So, I think, it's funny then that, we clearly both have similar kind of I suppose, starts. But, so you've got that as your first kind of sneaker memory. But, as we think about it, and I think you already mentioned it, Danny. What was the shoe? And this is more for you, Lance. So, what was the shoe? The shoe that really triggered it. That really like pushed you over the edge, and you realised actually, I've probably got a bit of a problem here, or not a problem. You know what I mean? But we all it's not as natural as the normal person.
Yeah, I don't know. There's probably loads of different answers to that. But apart from the Adidas kick, the thing that I remember the most, because weirdly, I in Liverpool, obviously we didn't play rugby. Football was a big game for us, but I actually played basketball. My game in school was basketball, and we actually had
Really?
we had a real. I mean, I'm just blowing up. We were like schoolboy. 5 times out of 7 national schoolboy champions at basketball. So you don't need to put that in the podcast. But
We are.
our school coach, a guy named Guy Reese, he was also the coach of one of the professional basketball teams. And we used to get ex-NBA players coming over to our school and coaching us. It was that serious to us. So I was wearing Pony, top 10s, Adidas top 10s, Air Force One boots. We were getting them subsidised for our school team. How mad is that? But one of the lads that I played with, called Neil Hunter, I mean, this is 30 odd years ago, his mum and dad had loads of money, and he got a pair of the Forest Hills. So I think they were the 82 Forest Hills, the ones I've got.
Yeah.
And they were so unattainable price-wise. It was just one of those shoes that I was like, I'm so envious of you because you've got these amazing pair of shoes that I'll never ever be able to have. And I think if I always go back to a pair of shoes, it was the Forest Hills, which were tennis shoes, and he played basketball in them. But that's probably the strongest memory I've got for trainers that made a very big impact on me.
And would you like to add anything to yours, sort of, Danny?
So mine, I think it was. So when I left school, I got a job in what was Sports Soccer, which is now Sports Direct.
Okay.
And it was a part-time job, and upstairs was Foot Locker. And so I quickly used to spend all my money buying Air Max 95s, Air Max TNs. And then, because I had money, my own money, and my mum never took any board or anything, I found Hip. And we'll mention Hip quite a lot in
you
our
do.
videos. Well, we found Hip, and the guy who was the manager at Hip was really into trainers. He probably educated me, for want of a better description, on what trainers to buy. And it was like finding the special pieces then. And he put me onto the Nike SB Dunks and things like that. And then Robin and his friend, they had a secret trainer store in Leeds. It was upstairs, hidden away.
Really?
Yeah. It was. They had pigeon dunks in there. And so what they used to do is they used to take JD exclusives to America and swap them for stuff in America and bring the American stuff back.
Sorry.
Amazing.
What they took the JD exclusives.
Yeah. Because everything's globalized now.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
back in 2000, it wasn't. And so it was. They used to go and do that. They had this little business model, and they had a little secret, and you had to know it was there. It was in the Victoria Quarter in Leeds, which is like a posh
Yeah.
shopping centre, and it was in a shoe shop, and you had to go to the back of the shoe shop, up some stairs, and into this like amazing cavern of what were the like they had the see-through what were the see-through Nikes that came out at the beginning?
You
Can't remember.
remember?
Air Force 2s were there.
I don't know.
There were some Air Forces. I can't remember. But it was like Aladdin's cave. You went in there, and it was things that you just couldn't see anywhere else.
Wow.
And then, yeah,
That's
that completely hooked me in. I used to just sit and just sit and chat to the guys and just look. I couldn't afford I couldn't afford most of it, but I just used to look and ogle and just think, wow, I'm going to buy something one day.
one day. And now that's happened.
Yeah, I used to go in every month and buy something from there, but it was a little bit expensive. But yeah, that was that really like hooked me, and they told me where to get the SBs from in this country, and then I got I got loads and loads of dumps back in the day.
Yeah, that's probably the thing that frustrates me the most is I at that time, so certainly when SBs were like, I suppose, I don't know, 2002 and onwards.
We were very poor.
I was very poor. And like literally, it was like I was living on Blue Stripe with Selena. So it was like we either eat or buy shoes, and it wasn't buying shoes, I can tell you that. So a lot of Blue Stripe.
We're all, I don't want to say fortunate, but you know, it's nice when you can just pick up a few pairs in a month, you know, and then
Definitely.
put that into your monthly income. But I was still buying a pair of trainers every month, and that was a stretch for me. But I knew where to go and get the SB stuff, and it was hard. You had to like exit in Leeds. You had to go and go, what's coming out, and you had to. It's not like the internet. You didn't know. You had to try and work out what was coming, and then you know, and try and get them to either save you a pair or be there when they opened, and just.
Yeah, it's funny. It's actually that's kind of if you think about it, you know, it's changed. It's really changed. You know, the way we see so much stuff now, and that's flipped it entirely. If you think about just how much comes out now, I don't know. Like, I don't think Nike. You know, I think I read today that they're going to lose 3 point something billion or some stupid number. A really stupid number, but the amount that they put out, it's they can afford that. But it's just nuts, just how much everything's going on. So I think, so we talked through that, and you know, we talked about memories. We talked about the shoe that kind of really triggered you into sort of doing this. I think, you know, one of the things that I was curious about, of the shoes that you have now, not the ones that you had. Because I know that you both probably had many shoes and bought and sold. If there was, if the government said to us, right, you've all got to go to Scotland now, and you can take one pair of shoes with you, and they don't have to be sensible. What would be your most cherished shoe?
Is it dry in Scotland? Yeah.
Well, it's just a long way from anywhere. In my mind, it's so far away from anywhere that
shut the border.
It's going to be safe.
I need some more criteria. This is freaking me out. Are they to wear? Are they to just idolize, or?
They are to. I would say they're your most cherished. You don't need to wear them because the government will provide boots and things, and so this is
to go to the pub.
Yeah.
When there's nobody else there because of coronavirus, so you can take a pub, no, just for a drink on my trainer.
And we'll provide plastic bags to wrap round them, and all of those things. But like one pair.
So I know mine, and mine's quite a weird one because it's a bit of an it's not an oxymoron, but it's a pair of Micropacer. So Adidas Micropacer.
Yep.
They reissued in 2000 the OG pair, the 1984 pair, the silver pair.
Yes, I
Yeah.
remember them.
And they did them in limited numbers in certain countries, and they did 600 pairs in the UK. So I've got a pair. I think they're embroidered with number 338. They are my most cherished possession, but I think I'm going to sell them.
What? They're not that cherished.
Yeah, no, they are. They're that cherished that I won't ever wear them. And my mindset about shoes has changed over the last 12 months.
Yep.
I want to declutter my life, and that includes getting rid of quite a few pairs of shoes that I'll never wear. I've gone too far with them. They mean too much that I can never, the day that I wear them is kind of like, oh, yeah, I know what he's doing. It's a disaster. So I'm actually thinking about selling them to someone who will actually wear them, because I won't wear them. It's gone.
Oh, you should just wear them.
Well, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, just wear
Just
them
wear them.
yourself.
Do it. Do it. You know you want to.
So as I said, I knew it wouldn't make any sense. It makes perfect sense in my strange mind at the moment. But they are very cherished, but I just can't bring myself to wear them, so why have I got them?
I can kind of understand that.
I've got many. I'm trying to think. Like, yeah, I have some pairs that I'm saving for a couple of years. I'm gonna save for a couple of years. There's a couple of pairs of Dunks that I'm just gonna be like, right, they can stay.
I am not of that ilk at all. I wear mine straight away.
Just out of interest, why are you doing that? Because I'm saving a few pairs.
Why am I doing that? Well, I see it right. So in my mind, at some point, we might move to a country that's doesn't have so much mud and rain, and then I can feel comfortable that I'm going to wear them every day, or not, as the case may be. And so that is, like, you have weird logic. That's the weird logic that I've got in my mind of that. I'll go somewhere where it's dry, it's just a bit dusty, and there's no moss or anything like that, and so they won't get dirty too much. Which is a really weak excuse.
See, I just like to save them. Yeah, it is sensible, but I kind of quite like to save stuff and then bring it out in a few years' time, and then no one else has got it, and they're like, what is that? And I'm like, these are from a few years ago. You can't really get them anymore.
Yeah. But you can still do that. Because I wear all mine pretty much straight away, and then put the go back in the box, and I break them out on rotation every 6 months or something. I might just get a special pair out, or I don't know.
So, Danny, you haven't answered the question.
Yeah, I know I have.
We've given you time.
It's a tough one. My probably
We'll edit this.
my Reese Forbes Hunter Dunks are pretty special. So what happened? It's a long story, but my collection back in the day, I sold it all to fund a house deposit.
Yep.
Literally, 2006, I think it was. Everything got sold. Everything. I think I get like 2 pairs of trainers, and I forced myself. You know, it's like we're all addicted, aren't we? It's like a drug. It's like the thrill of the chase. It's having everything, and I went cold turkey, and I didn't buy anything for years. Just 2006 sold up, but I kept my Reese Forbes Dunks, and I kept a pair of Olympic Air Max 95s, and then everything else went. And so I've still got my Reese Forbes Dunks in pretty good condition. So I'd probably break those out if I had a sentimental piece that I just still have to wear. I think. I don't know. Oh, my Liam Gallagher's, they're still on mine.
Oh, really? Really? Of all shoes?
Why not?
I can't believe. It's just no.
But on a little, the Liam Gallagher shoes, they are quite special. Apart from the fact I'm a massive Oasis fan, obviously the guys at Adidas sent us through before anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
It was a pretty big world exclusive preview, and then they took us to the.
Are we doing some advertising for the Annexe?
No, we're not. No, but we went to the Liam Gallagher gig where he wore them for the first time as well, and it's a bit of a sentimental Annexe kind of loving kind of thing. But Yeah, I still go Reese Fob dunks.
The most unwearable. You need to go with them to the hot climate when they.
Scotland. I'm not taking those.
They're the most unwearable shoes ever known to man. Them things.
Oh, that's why I've not worn them yet.
They're insane.
Oh, that's funny. So that's the most cherished shoe. What about the biggest regret buying? As in, like, and I was talking to Selena about this on Saturday. It's if you think about it, we've all bought a shoe that kind of we probably like.
You just get a bit sucked into.
You just like,
it.
why did I buy that? That's a ridiculous. It's just not you. Now I know I've definitely got a few of them. Guys,
you're saying that you know that what mine is.
Well, no, I was going to say I'll do yours and you do mine.
Oh God, no, I don't think of it.
I know what you must regret buying.
What?
Them salmon dunks.
Oh God, yeah.
They're awful.
Oh, no,
they're two different
no,
colours.
it's not the fact.
Which ones are these?
They're two different colours.
The
What's it called?
The fish ladder dunks.
yeah.
So I found those.
Right.
So I found them in a sale, and what we did with it was actually our first bit of YouTube money that we got. We split it in half and went, right, we'll just buy ourselves a pair of trainers and do like a little like feature. YouTube money paid for these shoes. And so I found these fish ladder dunks in the sale. I can't remember where they were. Can't remember the store.
Some store
was it the one in Blackburn? Was it Remix in Blackburn?
That's it. That's the one.
So, and I thought they had them in a size 8, which ain't quite my size. I'm a true 7.5. But I thought, do you know what? For the sake of, I think they're like 35 quid. I thought they're worth a punt at 35 quid. And I got them through, and I was like so excited. I opened them. I thought, I kind of like these. They're kind of cool. Put them back in the box, and then we did the video. They did the unboxing, and one must have been left out on the shelf for about 6 months.
Oh no!
And so they're two completely different colours. So I can put them next to each other, and one's a real vibrant pink.
Yep.
And one's like a dull kind of, and the suede's like mismatched. It's like,
Oh no!
I keep thinking about that. Neither colour of them is any good. Let's just put that to bed. Secondly, it was a lesson we needed to do better at the Annexe, so you could afford to spend more than 30 quid on a pair of trainers.
So yeah, that was. It wasn't a regret on the trainers.
Come on.
No, the trainers I don't mind. The regret was that they were. Yeah, you bought them online and they were mismatched and.
So I regret him buying those trainers. But, you must know what mine is.
I can't think.
Come on. You rinsed me.
You must know. Come on.
You must know.
I've rinsed you so many times over the past 3 years.
Yeah, but this one was legit. This one I deserved.
You're gonna have to.
2019 reissue of Nike Shox.
Oh my god.
Oh, they're so bad.
Shush.
The shots were horrific.
I waited outside the what store was it?
He went to go queue up and he was in a queue of one.
Yeah. So no. I queued up outside Foot Locker in the Trafford Centre. It's the only ever time I think I've properly queued up for a pair of shoes like that.
Oh, just back in the day.
Back in the day when they first released, the day they got released, and I got a pair and I absolutely adored them. And you know when the nostalgia doesn't translate to like 2019 when they reissued them, and they changed the shape of them. The heel was awful on them. They went straight back.
Oh, so you didn't keep them?
Oh, the bubble. Well, apart from he ripped me on the video, and then I just realised that he was right, and the bubble burst massively on them.
Yeah.
And they just went straight back.
The spring.
I just don't get them. Like literally, no. I don't understand.
I get them from back in the day. I understand the big hype, like back in was it late 90s? I think it was. Was it 99?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I think it was 99.
Changed the world, Shox. So just a question for you on that one, because the top-down view of them is awesome.
Okay.
And so, what view's more important to you on a shoe? The view that someone else gets, or the view that you get?
No, I think it's my view.
Ooh.
Because I don't like it if they have a weird toe box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the Team Classics that I've got, I really like them, but they just feel like they make my feet look really weird at the front, and I don't know, it's just odd.
I think
I don't like feet anyway.
And we're all into shoes.
I was going to say, yeah.
But that's why we're into shoes.
Side hustle you've got going on. You don't like feet.
I'm trying to think, like, I can't, because I like both. Like, I want people to see them. Like, I feel confident if I'm wearing like a pair of shoes that I know people are going to look at. It kind of, it's particularly, and this is more for a work thing for me, is if I'm speaking at something, I invariably wear a pair of shoes that I know that people are going to look at, because I don't want them to look at me. I want them to look at the shoes, which is a kind of an insecurity thing, but it's kind of like that's what I do. And so, but to SJ's point, I look down sometimes and think, oh my God, I'm wearing boats down there. The sizing is weird. Like, and I don't know, it's a weird one.
I've got dinky 7.5s. Well, I will. If something makes my feet look big, they ain't going on my feet. If I look down and think they look enormous, it's not happening.
They're never going to look big on you.
I know.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous, isn't it?
It's my own perspective, isn't it? Something looks big.
Bit of advice for you though is if you want people to look at your feet when you're on stage, you need to get a pair of Shox.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true. I didn't even think about that. But I actually want them to look at them and think they look good. Touche.
Yeah, you don't need Shox then, definitely not.
I think I'm gonna pass the next sort of conversation starter over to SJ.
So I think, we've all bought lots of different sneakers over the years. What would you say has been your most extravagant purchase when it comes to sneakers, whether that's on the resale market or just like going out of your way to get a pair of sneakers? So not necessarily the cost or anything being extravagant, but the effort you've gone to get them.
Is that like flying to Berlin to buy some trainers?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's amazing. That is amazing, by the way.
That changed, that little bit you added at the end changed the story then, because I actually wouldn't have anything to answer to that. Yeah. I've never paid resale for a pair of shoes. I've never bought anything like Gucci or anything like that, because that's just not me. So I haven't got an extravagant purchase for trainers apart from going to the Overkill launch for the 3 shoes and going to Berlin. So that would be, and then going back with Danny for the No Walls Needed pack.
Yeah,
that's extravagant. But even then, it wasn't. It was worth every penny, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely.
It wasn't just the shoes. It was like a weekend away with friends and like I wouldn't say loads. How many? It was about 6 of us all went across and met other people out there. Met the guys from Overkill that we've interacted with on like Instagram and met. And yes, I think
so. I would, because I had to justify it to my wife, and my wife won't let me do anything extravagant when it comes to trainers. So by definition, the fact that she approved meant it still wasn't an extravagance. There you go. But it was a big deal.
Yeah, I think this
is a boring answer. We've got nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't buy resale. The only kind of resale that I did was back in the day at Sneakerville, the secret trainer shop in Leeds. But you had to pay more because it wasn't just like a normal shop, and the guys had gone to America to bring everything back. So blah 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 blah. But yeah, I'm pretty much, if I miss out, I miss out. And I'm okay with that. And I never pay resale. I didn't get any Safari Dunks. But I won't be buying them unless someone can happily pass me some at retail or just above retail. I won't be paying the £300 for a pair of shoes. It's just
agree.
I refuse to fund. I refuse to fund it.
Yeah, I'm totally with you on that one. I just cannot I know this one does it, but I just can't bring myself to do it. I can't. It's just like, no. If it goes, I'm annoyed for like a few hours or whatever. Then I'm like, whatever.
Or you let me buy them for you on resale and then say that.
You've only bought me 1 pair, and I did not ask you to buy them.
True.
I suppose what we have done is we won 2 pair of Sean Witherspoons, and then used a pair to trade for something else. So
that's different, though.
But
I think that's different.
Wetherspoon's second pair were bought for retail, so it wasn't.
Yeah, no, that's but that's different to like I do hold my hands up. I have used Goat. I have used StockX.
You've been shopped in Flight Club.
I have shopped in Flight Club, and got.
That sounds cool though.
But I got sucked in. It was like, in fact, the first time we went was weird. It was it was a very bizarre experience of standing outside a shop in New York and
before it opened,
we walked through wasn't the nicest bit of Midtown.
Bearing in mind this was a good...
What was this?
Was this 2012?
Yeah. It was in 2012.
Yeah.
This was at like 8 o'clock in the morning. The shop wasn't open. And there was the biggest bunch of scary looking guys queuing up politely to go in. And there wasn't anything releasing. It was just a normal day. It was such a peculiar experience. And then going in there, and I had never seen so many shoes in my life. And I was just like, I was a little bit overwhelmed of just like, I don't know. And ended up coming back with a pair of Dunks that I paid too much money for. They're a bit tight on my feet. But, sorry?
Which pair?
It's the tweed Dunk Lows. I talked about them yesterday.
Yeah.
And I like, they're probably like, if the house was to burn down, once I got Selena out and Huxley out, they'd be the pair of shoes that I go back and get, just because of how we got them, where we got them. It was kind of nuts. And then I went again another year, and the first year we went, I didn't even realize there was another section. So I walked in, there's loads in here. I didn't even discover all the Jordans and the Jordan 1s and this whole other display area. And I was just like, and I went in there, and again, I had to go on like, I think I was on, I was on text with Selena going, I've come in here for the black pigeons, but I don't think I like them. And I came out with a pair of Jordan 1s. It's just like, it was really not what I expected, but like, I don't want to pay resale. Yes, those. And the thing is, now I regret not picking them up and picking up the Jordans that I picked up.
Have you worn those Jordans?
Yeah, I've worn them once.
Okay.
I've worn them once. I wore them once the other day, actually. They're the reverse shattered backboards from 2016, which I missed out on in the sneakers app in the US at the time. I checked the prices on StockX. They were cheaper in Flight Club but it was obscene. But yeah, I've bought a couple of shoes on StockX since, but I'm just not. I'm trying not to do it, but I get really frustrated. It's just like, but
let it go.
Just going back to your point about it was the memory of you going into Flight Club and picking them up, and that's the pair of trainers and that's almost the reason why you'd pick them out. I think I know certainly for me, but I think for yourself as well, it's not just a pair of trainers, it is the story behind a lot of the times where you go pick them up and you either stand in the queue with your friends, or the shop you went into, or the conversations you had before, or the flying to Berlin, or whatever it might be. For me, it's not just the shoes. I could probably pick up every single pair of shoes, and I could tell you where they came from and the story behind why I picked them up. Because that's what it means to me. It's not just a pair of shoes, you know.
I can't remember where I got any pair of shoes. I can remember the last pair of shoes I got. If the Sky Medal Mizunos weren't a Hanon collab, I wouldn't have even remembered that I got them from Hanon, to be fair. I've just got too much other stuff going on.
There's a lot going on up there. There's a lot going on.
Something goes in, something falls out the other side now. That's wisdom or age, or just,
Definitely age.
Yeah, it's not dementia, but yeah. So you just, and maybe this is maybe this changes the comment, so I don't really want to do it, but you mentioned Jordans. We've obviously talked about Dunks. You love your Nike SBs. You love your Nike SBs. I like Dunks, but I'm not, I've probably got like 11 or 12 pairs of Dunks. I just love the shoe, but I'm not freaking out over them. Does what's happening this year with Dunks and what happened last year with Jordan 1s, that ruins it for me.
Yeah.
It just spoils it. I'd rather they release 3 great pairs of Dunks a year, 3 great pairs of Jordan 1s, move on to the next year, instead of just, I get anniversaries, but they're battering SBs this year. They're coming out all the time. and it dilutes it a little bit for me.
I don't know. I think, right, so I've got a counterpoint to that. And I think it's more...
it's more the hype for them.
It's the hype.
Yeah.
They were always releasing GRs. They were all like pretty regular. I think and there was always collaborations with shops.
Yeah.
And there has been since SBs that started on and off, more or less. So that was always there to a certain extent. I think the challenge for us this year is that they've been picked up as to be the shoe. And that's driven the hype cycle to a certain extent, that shoes that any SB, it doesn't matter what it is now, it appears in the hype cycle in one way or another. Now, that's good and bad. It's good for some stores. It's bad for them as well. It's bad for us normal collectors. The way I see it, though, is it's going to be cyclical. So next year, there'll be another silhouette, that there'll be something else that people jump on, and I'll continue buying SBs. And this year's going to be the year where I'm going to take more L's than I have taken over the last few years. And maybe I'll start buying Janoskis again because nobody's into them anymore.
What you might find is that in
Or Blazers.
Yes.
But I can't even buy Blazers now. Not the ones I want. Like, as I keep saying, every pair of sneakers I've gone in for this year, I haven't been able to get. It's mid-March and I have not bought a pair of sneakers this year.
Really?
Which is insane.
I suppose to try and defend myself a little bit, I love Jordan, because they're a basketball shoe. Love Jordan 1s. It's such a cool shape.
Yeah.
I went off the shoe last year. I don't like it anymore. I don't want to buy any. Last year ruined it for me.
Really?
So, well, I'm so anti-hype, really. I'm quite anti-hype. But actually, just getting bombarded. And they didn't help, because they did release more colourways in Jordan 1s last year than probably the year before.
Oh, yeah, there's so many.
That's fair.
You know, and it's happening with Dunks this year. So I completely agree. And a good shoe's a good shoe. And if you're exposed to it and you like it, you'll probably pick it up. But what they did to Jordan 1s last year, I'll probably never forget. It was kind of a pivotal year for me, because it just really... And I've got a pair of the Blue Royals that I've never worn. I'm probably going to get rid of them. Because and I love them. I think they're lovely.
They're
but
so nice.
I just don't want to. And so going back to I've used StockX to sell, but it's not. I bought then to sell StockX. I've used it to sell because I doubled up on the anniversary blues and reds, Air Max 1s. I thought that was a great thing to do. I'm now trying to declutter my life.
Yeah.
I've tried to sell stuff on eBay. I hate the experience of selling on eBay. It's just an awful marketplace to go to. And I don't just mean for shoes. I mean for anything you want to sell. You just have some really bad experiences with customers and stuff. So StockX for selling, you know, because they sell them outward, they sell them at much higher prices than you get paid for them.
Yes.
But it's the convenience of StockX for me.
I suppose the challenge with StockX I have, so we've never sold, although Selena did, she has listed some shoes this weekend on eBay. I think the bigger challenge I have is I tend to wear them once or twice, and then that's no good for StockX, and so then that leads me down the GOAT path. But I don't think that they have a European distribution piece yet, whereas StockX obviously have got that place in London, so it does have some distribution bits. So I don't know. So what was the selling experience like? I've always wondered. I've never actually asked anybody.
So easy. It's just so easy. And the only thing that someone put the fear of God into me with was because I sold a pair of Jordan 4 cements, and that was a consequence of the Jordan 1 experience I had last year. I got rid of them last year. I wasn't going to wear them. Someone else would obviously want them more. Someone put the fear of God into me and just said, if the box has got a crease or a dint or a scratch in, they'll just send them straight back to you. I was like, well, that's ridiculous. They even turn up creased and dinted and scratched and stuff. You can't really, you know, we all want great boxes, but that's not the way they get shipped these days. But that's not, I've never had any, I've probably sold 4 pairs on StockX, and I've never had anything rejected. So it's been really straightforward. Send it to them, they check them over, they send you a message back saying they're fine, here's your money, and it's done.
Wow.
Easy, dead easy.
So they just need to now accept slightly worn ones.
Yeah, they do.
Ever so slightly worn ones. The thing I've seen on Goat is that they have a service in the US where they will take slightly worn ones and kind of service them, and so they're kind of they're not quite new, but not quite used.
They're in dead stock.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Almost dead stock.
Almost. And even that term, the dead stock's not dead stock, because isn't that a store thing and not like, anyway, we won't go down that route because we'll set off a load of people who,
the dead stock people. Yeah, I've got these dead stock Yeezys. What you picked them up yesterday, and they're not dead stock.
No, exactly.
That you found in a basement that you didn't realise you had like 5 years ago.
Well, that wasn't a question that I thought a thing that we were going to talk about. So, I want to ask you I'm not sure. I don't think we've covered this. What's the one that got away? And you can't say the Safari. Don't.
I won't.
He won't. No,
I won't. Neither will my wife.
Yeah, 2 pairs came to the Annexe, but not a pair for Danny and a pair for Lance. A pair for Lance and a pair for Mrs. Lance.
Yeah, I've got a pair upstairs. Sorry.
I didn't get a pair.
Neither did I. One that got away.
Yeah.
I'm going to take it back a good few years. So I had the opportunity to buy some Heineken Dunks, and they were about £300.
Okay.
Something. So, but back in the day, it was at the point where I didn't have, like I said before, not lots and lots of money, and so I was buying one pair of trainers maybe every month that were like in the £60 to £100 price bracket, and I had a chance to get some Heineken, and I always wanted a pair of Heineken Dunks. And I think if someone gave me a pair, or someone said, right, here's a pair of Heineken Dunks for £300, I think I'd bite their arm off now.
Yeah, definitely.
Don't do resell though.
But yeah, so probably that was my biggest regret that I didn't do it. But it was like a forced thing. I couldn't,
Yeah.
I couldn't do it, but I kind of wish I could go back and buy them now.
The dead obvious one for me, but I didn't even know it at the time, so it's probably a bit of a. One was the Patachlorophyll Air Max ones.
Mm-hmm.
So they passed me by when they were released. We know they sat on shelves, all that kind of stuff. I look back now, it's probably my, ultimate grail now.
Yeah.
But if I want to make it a bit more real, and this sounds ridiculous, and it's probably the Spiridons.
Okay, now was not expecting that.
No, I know, and the other one, and I know I was supposed to give you one, and I'm coming on to number 3 now.
No, that's cool.
It's weird. I saw it on your feed the other day, and I do not like Supreme at all. But you've got the Air Force 2 Supremes, haven't you?
We do.
In the teal colour.
Yes.
Yeah.
Colour it is. They're amazing. I love them. And I should have got a pair of them. I quite like the brown ones. In fact, I quite like the orange as well. But it's a great shape shoe, and it's a nice Supreme shoe, I think.
I think for me that shoe's kind of interesting because I really wanted the orange and the brown, and got the teal, and I didn't wear it for so long because I was like looking at it going, or the emerald teal, I think it is. I was looking at it and I was just, I don't know if I can pull that off. Like literally,
and they
like
look huge,
and they look big on my feet. I thought, but actually, once they're on, they look all right. And they just took like a little bit of wearing to soften them up because the leather on them is really hard, really hard. But it's a. I wasn't expecting that. And that Spiridon. It's funny. I've got the Sneaker Freaker mag upstairs, and I keep flicking through it, and I'm just like, because they got a whole section on the Spiridons. I think that's how you say it. And like it's an unusual shaped shoe. You just don't see that kind of shape.
Yeah, it don't work for me to be honest. But I like certain people.
The weird thing is, So I think generally the sole, it's an interesting sole unit, and it doesn't work in a lot of the colorways. One of my favorite shoes, and if you ask this question, if I had to take a few with me, not just one, I'd take my Stash Spiridons. I absolutely love my Stash Spiridons, and the thing about them is the sole is the same color. It's navy blue. It's the same color as the bottom part of the shoe, so it kind of you can't see the weird shape of the sole as much. And then I actually thought that you've got the Paras Dunks, haven't you?
Yes.
I thought because they changed the way the patterns were laid out on the Spiridons. And I prefer the way the pattern is laid out on the Spiridons than on the Dunks, to be honest, because I love a Dunk. But the Spiridon, I hate this word because he's...
Oh, you know, the Spiridons came out with the Air Max 1s.
Yes, they did.
Air Max 1, sorry.
Yes, they did. Because you've got the Air Max 1s as well, haven't you? Because I was kind of jealous of those at the time.
Yes.
Envy.
Sorry, I meant Air Max 1s, not Dunks, because that was the Paras. I was thinking about the Blazers. I got confused then with my...
Old age.
Yeah, but sorry, the Air Max 1, it was they used the same pattern, but they cut it up in different places on the shoes, and I just love the Spiridon versions, but... Yeah, I'd probably go for the Supreme Air Force 2s as a bit of a... And they're not actually that expensive, are
No,
they?
they're not. They're not.
There was no real resale hype for them at all.
No.
It wasn't, weirdly. Obviously, they were too nice looking.
They're a novel one. They're a novel one. So I think I'm going to wrap this up in a minute, but I just want to we've talked a lot about regrets and stuff. And we talk about this a lot, SJ and I. It's just there's always a shoe which you kind of wear, you really like it, and you wear it too much, and you end up absolutely destroying it. And then you have I have this. I don't know for you, but there's many shoes that I've got that I really regret that I've still got them in boxes upstairs. I can't throw them away. It's this weird hoarding thing where shoes and boxes I have to keep. I don't know why, even if they're absolutely beaten. And I just wonder, have you two got a pair which you kind of regret wearing a little bit too much?
I don't think I've got a pair that I wear too. I've got a pair that I wear very regularly, and if the weather's a bit shady outside, and I think I don't know what to wear today, and it could be a bit drizzly, up north, and they are the black Tiffany Diamond Dunks, and I know that, and I can see myself in a few years thinking, why did I wear those so much? Because they're really nice, but I just love it. They're one of my favourite pairs, and I just bang them on every day. It's just they don't go back in the box. They live in my kitchen, and I just bang them on to just walk down to school or.
Such a cool dad.
I'm trying to think about this. I actually would come back to. I thought about it the other day. I might be wearing my Stash Spiridons too much because they're starting to look a little bit worn, and I love them, absolutely love them. But going back, I got a pair of the original Air Max 1s in red in 1987, and obviously just wore them to death.
Yeah.
Not appreciating how iconic that particular shoe was, to be honest. But obviously that's a long time ago.
Even you did back in the day, like late 90s when you were buying, when you started buying trades, who knew it would be?
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So some of the stuff I've had and either passed on for cheap or beat up, and I'm like, oh my god, if I could go back and stop myself, wearing those Homer Dunks and then selling them for oh
my word,
because I did. I went pick your shoes in America. I used to pick your shoes and just
exactly
get shipped across, and now, if you only knew kind of thing. But then it's the memories, isn't it? I loved it. I loved wearing them, and that's all good.
Yeah, it's it's a random one. I still think about my a pair of Airwalk prototypes, which I bored everyone by talking about Airwalk prototypes. I hunt on eBay regularly, just in case some randoms put a pair up. I found a multicolour pair, but never the black pair. One day, someone will put them up. They'll be falling apart, but I will buy them just to have them. It's so bad. It's so bad.
Because they'll be battered.
Goat will refurbish them for you.
They'll come back with an entirely new shoe. Yeah, it'd be so perfect. So guys, thanks for joining us. This is the second one that we've done properly, and actually the first proper one, because we've not actually spoken to anybody on a podcasty type thing outside of us before, ever. So yeah, it's been fun. I'm surprised. I'm surprised it's been easy. I was genuinely thinking, I don't know whether I could actually talk for an hour about stuff. Turns out I can.
No, it's easy. We do it on live all the time. And we're like, we've just talked up an hour here. It's easy talking about shoes.
We have talked about doing a podcast though. This is even more of an incentive. We'll have to return the favour, won't we?
Yeah, definitely. It's like it's straightforward and stuff, but we can talk about that offline. And so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to say thanks for joining us, guys. If you haven't checked out the Annexe, don't forget to look for them on Instagram. Don't forget to hunt them down on YouTube and probably any other social platform that you can find them. And yeah, we will be coming right back to everybody at some point in a week or so with another guest. And of course, if you don't watch Sneaker Streaming Sundays, it's every Sunday on YouTube. And yeah, and this will be available on all your favorite podcast platforms and YouTube. And so until next time, here we go.
Thanks for listening to Sneakers and Stories.